to the Starry-Eyed Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Jen. On this show, we chat about all things Williams syndrome,
The ups and downs and what it's like living with
and being a parent to someone with
Williams syndrome.
We're excited to share our community with you. Thanks for being here.
Unfortunately, Tara couldn't be. Yeah, hi Bennett. Bennett's hey, Bennett doesn't get on the podcast very much. Actually,
we got to get him on the podcast.
Yeah. So, but I was going to say, unfortunately, we don't have Tara, and Tara's great.
Tara
Momplaisir, but we got Gerald and Pascale on this week, and boy, were they amazing.
Yeah, I thought Gerald and Pascale were great. They had so much to contribute, and Pascale is she's such a great ball of energy. I have not met Tara, which I don't know why, after we were talking about this, because I feel like I would like her and know her. We would be friends. Yes. But Pascale you can just tell her parents have poured love and resources into her, and it is absolutely paying off. So this was a good podcast.
Real quick before we jump into the interviews, also, technically, you two, I mean, by the time the next episode airs after this one, it will be 1 year that we've been putting out these podcasts. It's always great to just thank everybody, thank the listeners, thank everyone who comes.
Yes.
And
thank you guys for letting me be a part of this.
Yeah, thanks for coming in as
you're the main part of it. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. It's filled my bucket every day, and I'm happy to share these stories. The people who have Williams syndrome, we do a lot to support them, but a lot of times we don't get to highlight how that support helps them and hear those journeys. And I have learned so much just from meeting all the different individuals with Williams syndrome. And there's a lot of similarities, but there's also like a lot of unique qualities that each person possesses. Like everyone is like a special little nugget that I find. And I've grown my friendship network substantially.
And a big shout out to Stephanie for,
yes,
thinking of this idea, for the inception of this idea, even though she's not, part of this anymore. Thank you so much, Steph. We love you, and we wish you all the best.
Yep. This all started with just a conversation about how do we have adults with Williams syndrome be able to share their experiences a little bit more, and a year later, here we are, and we put out about 30 episodes that I am unbelievably proud to be a part of. Anyway, that's for the upcoming episode.
Yes.
That's for the upcoming episode. I love you guys. I gotta go.
This episode we got Gerald and Pascale, and it was amazing, and they're just tremendous people. So
yes, and February is Black History Month, so it was great to have this father-daughter duo on because mom couldn't make it, but they share a lot of great points about what it means to be a person with a disability and also a person of color. Okay, bye!
Okay, bye!
All right, well, good morning, Gerald, and good morning, Pascale. How are you guys?
We are doing great.
Yep.
How are you doing, Brendan?
I'm doing well. Well, alrighty. So for those that don't know who you guys are, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you guys do?
You want to start?
Yep. My name is Pascale Momplaisir. I'm technically still in high school, and I plan to go to a transition program at George Mason University. That's called the Mason Life Program. It's for people with learning disabilities, and I went on a tour there a few months ago. It was a very great experience for me.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. So my name is Gerald Momplaisir. Pascal and I, we live in Baltimore, Maryland, which is very nice today. It's snowing a lot. So Pascal has William. We found out when she was about, and she was in kindergarten, so about 6 years old.
Yeah.
So just living life and trying to enjoy life in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Ah,
I love Baltimore. So interesting. So Pascal, you were diagnosed with Williams syndrome at like 5 or 6?
Yes.
Okay, that is very similar to Stella. Stella wasn't diagnosed until she was 5. Maybe you and your dad could share how that came about.
So, well, Pascal probably doesn't remember.
I don't remember Jack.
So, as a child, had issues eating, had issues, being small, all kinds of medical issues, doing some of the programs sponsored by by the county, START program. We're in Baltimore, so we have some of the best medical people around in the country. And we went to everybody, seeing a geneticist, and we were doing all these different genetic testing to figure out what happened. And finally, we went to a cardiologist, and the cardiologist is the one that said, "Oh, there's a marker. You probably should get tested for Williams." And that's how we found out. So we went for testing. I think we did the fish test.
yes.
And it came back that she had Williams. The geneticist did not see it in Pascal, even though she had a lot of the features of Williams, but
The characteristics, yeah.
characteristic, yes.
So they didn't like initially think that she had it.
They didn't think to look for it. It's not they
Oh.
didn't think she had it. So when we came back to see the geneticist, she was, oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
Surprised. You're like,
Yes,
we're back.
surprised. Yes.
Yeah. And so you suspected that it was Williams syndrome because a cardiologist heard something.
The cardiologist, yes.
Okay.
I guess people with Williams have a certain, I don't know anything about cardiology, but they have a certain sound or murmur,
Yeah.
Yep.
certain murmur. And she was familiar with it. She said, you should get tested for that.
Yeah.
So they specifically said you need to get tested for Williams syndrome.
Yes.
Fascinating. So have you always lived in Baltimore, Pascal?
Yes. I
Okay.
have always lived in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. I enjoyed my time there in Baltimore. So Pascal, do you have siblings?
I have 2 siblings.
Okay. And what are their ages?
One is 35 and one is 20, turning 21 soon.
Okay. So you're the baby.
Yes.
You're the baby. Okay. And you said you're 18 now?
Yes, I'm turning 19 on February 21st.
Oh, exciting. Happy
So
birthday.
pretty soon.
Thank
Happy early
Brendan, you're
birthday.
gonna have to do the hearts. Can you do them? Brendan can like do hearts on the screen. See ya?
Yes. Clearly, I
There
don't
we
know.
go.
He can make hearts on his screen for you. Those are happy birthday hearts for you.
Nice.
So, well, tell us about like growing up in Baltimore County. Tell us about how it was growing up with a disability. Like, were there a lot of kids at your school that had disability, or now that there are?
So when I started at elementary school, there were not like general area of people who had a disability. I'm not sure if I was the only one there who had a disability, but I had difficulty with learning at that certain school because it was a public school and they would have 30 people or more people in a class, and it was not like a 6-to-1 ratio. So then we figured out that going to Pikesville Middle and high school were not the best options for me because they wouldn't have like the supports that I would need. So then Baltimore County decided to let me go to Baltimore Law School, which is a school for people with dyslexia, ADHD, and other learning disabilities. That is a very good school to go to. It has taught me a lot about like how people with learning disabilities are learning and how we're educated. little bit differently than normal people.
Yeah.
Is that a public school or a private school?
It's a private school.
Okay.
In Baltimore City.
Private. Oh, okay. In Baltimore, so you got to
Mm.
track into Baltimore City.
They say learning differences. So
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
All right.
Yeah.
people with dyslexia,
ADHD.
And it's so interesting.
and the ratio is excellent. It's
Is it?
the ratio in the classroom is 5-to-1, 6-to-1.
So
Yeah.
what grade were you when you went there?
I started in 6th grade, and in the middle of 6th grade, I got diagnosed with juvenile arthritis in like maybe December.
I've never heard of that. What is that?
It is like it's a disease where like your certain parts of your body like really tighten up, and there's fluid in the certain part area of where
Yeah. So she has her knee gets inflamed, and every now and then she has to go in and get fluid taken out her knee. So
And it's just in your knee.
yeah, it's only in my kneecaps, but then sometimes there are flare-ups where it shows up out of the blue, and sometimes legs get really like tight and swollen, and sometimes the arms will too.
Yeah. So you found that out right around the time that you went. Is 6th grade in Baltimore middle school?
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Stella got diagnosed at 5, so I feel like I'm still learning a lot about Williams syndrome and how to like support medical professionals or educational professionals. And one of the things that I have started to learn, like in education, is that like it's easier for me instead of saying, I mean, obviously, like the educational professionals know Stella has Williams syndrome, but I like some of those learning disabilities, I'm like, Stella learns like a person who has dyslexia. She learns like a person who has dysgraphia. She was a person who learns, like she has dyscalculia. So it's interesting because once I started like shifting some of that like language, they were like, oh, okay, we don't know how to teach somebody with Williams syndrome, but we definitely know how to teach somebody who has dyslexia. And I'd be interested to hear how the school has been going for you, because I've noticed a big shift just for Stella in a public school setting. So I can't imagine if it was like specialized, how amazing your education has been.
My education has been really well at Baltimore Lab School. Like, as I said before, I'm learning and I'm able to do the work and homework easier than I would have if I went to Pikesville Middle High School, because I at Baltimore Labs there's two different lab schools. There's one in DC. DC was the main one, and then they branched out to Baltimore. So like the learning is really easy at Baltimore Lab School.
easier or easy?
Easy.
Like easier,
Okay.
easier, not like easy, but easier.
She's like, I'm just bored. I'm going to school. So boring. So now what grade are you in? Are you a senior?
Yes.
You were saying that you're getting ready to graduate soon and transition. For those who don't know anything about that, tell our audience, like, what does it mean to transition out of high school, and what do you do after that?
For me, I applied to two different transition programs. One called Maryland Terps Exceed. Haven't heard back from them. And George Mason University. What it basically means is that you're going to classes that are like based that
So you go to a university, a regular university.
yes, a regular university, and you're taking classes that are a little bit easier than college course classes. Isn't that right?
Well, they are preparing you for life versus
Yeah.
versus getting a college degree.
I think Clemson University has a similar something.
Yes,
Program.
there's a lot of different programs around the country. We visited Syracuse University, so that's a big one. So there are a lot.
Yeah.
And Pascal also went to Beacon College over the
Summer.
summer. just to see if that would have been a good fit. They have a great 3 weeks program, and I don't know if you know about Beacon College.
Oh,
It's in Florida, and it specializes with students with learning differences,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a college degree
Seeking
track.
proper.
yeah.
But it just did not work for her, so we decided let's look at different option. And Pascal, ever since she's young, she's always said, "I want to go to college," so she'll get the full college experience,
Yeah.
freshman through senior. So
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
and that's amazing. I am hearing, so I mean, it feels a little bit early, but they're already starting to talk to us about what like life looks like for Stella after school. And so I'm hearing like there's all these different college programs out there. I definitely am like Stella's going to college, but there's some that are like like you get the campus experience, but maybe you're not going to the classes. And I think maybe Clemson is like that. I'm not sure 100%. But then there's like variety of different offerings, right? Some do like a hybrid where you're doing like a couple classes and you're getting the campus experience. But then there's some that it is like more of a traditional college setting. So I love the idea of we probably don't on this podcast, we haven't talked about transition enough, but for those that are listening, there are tons of information on our website about transitions. There's a transition support group that we have every month that talks about the things that you need to get ready for transition. And then, yeah, we need to like talk about this whole college thing because there's a bevy of options. Pascal, I feel like you're going to love college.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great experience for you for sure.
Are you
Yeah.
excited?
Yes. I have been really excited ever since like I went to Beacon College. I learned I couldn't go. I learned after that they recommended for me to go to a transition program because I could not keep up.
Beacon? No, you got accepted to Beacon. So she did get accepted to Beacon
Yes,
College.
I did, but then they wanted me to do a provisional like
Yes, accepted provisionally. But we decided that that's probably not the best fit. So
Yeah.
we
So is
started
George
looking at-
Mason close to you?
yes. It's about an hour and a half away or 2 hours. It's in Fairfax County.
Northern
Okay.
Virginia.
Northern
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yeah.
And you'll live on campus?
Yes.
Are you ready for that? Are you ready?
I mean, I guess so.
You're like, I'm
Um,
gonna be. So
Yeah.
when
You're
is this? You go in the fall.
Yes, in the fall.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so excited for you. So what are you most looking forward to going to college and living by yourself? And
I'm looking forward to having more independence and making like friends from the Mason Life program and getting to hang out with some people on the weekends. Since there's nothing scheduled on the weekends, like going to games or something like that.
is that what you like? What do you like to do in your free time now?
Sometimes I like to watch cat videos. Sometimes I watch like cat videos on like how they're angry at the vet because I recently started an internship at the Maryland SPCA, which is a shelter
That's
Okay.
awesome.
that works with Baltimore County. Yeah, it's very interesting. I started on last Thursday, which was very interesting.
And you're working like, what have you done so far there?
I have done laundry and clean like different things in the like sink and stuff like that, but I originally am trained to do cat cuddling, but there's not a lot of cats there yet.
Okay. Cat cuddler, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing about the college, the senior year,
Yeah.
they do internship in the afternoons,
Okay.
3 days a week.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah. So yeah, what is your goal? Like, what do you want to do like after college? And do you want to be a professional cat cuddler? Because again, that sounds great.
I actually would like to like work at a cat cafe maybe.
Okay.
or a shelter and then eventually open a cat cafe business and like slash like cat cafe on one side and then like a cafe on the other side connected so that I can have it connected and
So you want to be an entrepreneur? That's cool. I love
yeah.
that.
So ever since she's been a kid, she was a kid. I'm going to open my own business. I'm going to open my own business. So
Oh,
she's an
really?
entrepreneur at heart.
Oh, really? Okay, so you guys are gonna like make that dream happen. I love that. And I actually follow a lot of people who have disabilities who are like they have their own businesses and I I just think like it does so much good for the world to see you guys successful. I love the idea of a cat cafe so you can like have cats there and you can like eat and like pet cats. That sounds great.
Yeah, it would so like when I went to a cat cafe last year and what
Okay.
I learned is like you can order some food from the like cafe that works in with the cat cafe. For me, I'm gonna have it like connected, the cat cafe and the restaurant sort of connected but separated at the same time so it doesn't go against health regulations or anything like that.
Good for you, girlfriend. That's fun. So what outside of like transitioning and like what do you like to do besides cat videos?
I like to watch theater, like musicals and plays. The last 3 years I been in theater class and so like every like few months we would go to like a play at Everyman Theater, which is in the downtown Baltimore. It was very interesting to actually be able to go to that through that program because it was interesting and you could do different projects from the play. It was very good for me to like learn how to be in a theater class and drama class and stuff like that.
Oh, that's yeah, that's cool. Brendan, have you done theater?
No. Well,
But you are a performer.
yes.
Okay.
Who I think there's so many of you that are performers. Are you a musical person, Pascal? And like, do you play instruments?
I am sort of a musical person. I used to play the xylophone when I was in elementary school,
Okay.
and I did some lessons with the bongos or something like that. But recently I have not done anything really musically or bandishy.
But
Bandish.
you probably love music, right? Are you a music lover? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's like one of the other things that we hear in our community, right? Is like, oh, every person with Williams syndrome loves to play an instrument, and that's
Yes.
and Stella does. But it's not just because you like are a person with Williams syndrome doesn't mean you have to play an instrument. Like, there's a lot of ways to take in music and have musicality. Tell us about like what you have gotten from theater that excites you.
I have learned how to interact with people more socially.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I learned like how to do different class projects in theater
Yeah.
because each like semester we would do something for a play that we went to see at Everyman Theater. So it was very interesting.
But you also perform in the play, don't you?
Oh yes, I did perform in a play and in like a short like part of a musical too
Very
um
cool.
last year. And the year before that I was in a play too.
Any favorite musicals?
I like my one of my favorite musicals is Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, a good one.
I love that one too.
Yeah, The Lion King is like one of my favorite musicals. When I was very pretty young, around like 9 or 10, I went down to New York,
Yeah.
sat in the pit, and got to see the whole show. It was really, really cool.
That's cool.
Did
Yeah.
did we see the Lion King in New York?
I saw it with you in New York, and then I saw it again here at the Hippodrome Theater with Auntie Gina.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love music and theater productions as well. It's so fun. So Pascal, maybe you can share with us about your experience in having disability. Like how has it shaped you? How have you seen it shape your community? Your dad can answer this too, but I'll let you go first and then he can answer. I'd be interested to just hear, like you said that there wasn't a lot of people at your public school with disability, but now you're kind of in a school that has more of that representation.
For me, it's been both easy and hard. For me, like it's been really easy to understand like how certain people in like with learning disabilities act because I've seen like the very interesting way that people react like in classrooms and yeah, I feel like I have more like I can talk to more people at Baltimore Law School than I did at Summit Park Elementary School. Because at Summit Park Elementary School, it was like I don't know if I was the only one who had learning a learning disability, but I really did not. I wasn't very social at that time when I
Right.
went was in elementary school.
So now, like, what do your friendships look like? Do you feel like you have a good network of friends?
Yes, I feel like I have a great network of friends. I actually met someone from elementary school that eventually came to Baltimore Law School, and it was
Okay.
which was really cool
In how so?
because my friend who went to elementary school, she's a grade younger than me,
Okay.
and I've known her like since like third or fourth grade, and yeah, that's how we reconnected. She came back. She went to Baltimore Law School. How about you, Dad?
So I think Pascal, she has a great personality, a bubbly personality,
Yeah.
and she is always easy to connect with people. And she talks a lot. Sometimes we have to say, Pascal, especially around grown-ups, you have to let other people talk, you know. But she's a joy. Now the issue, from as a parent is that the friends that she makes, they're really not deep. It's more high level, superficial. But Pascal, is happy, so can't complain. In elementary school, she really did not make friends. People, acquaintance, go play playground, but it didn't go further than that. In high school, it's a little bit more where she goes to some homes or they'll come here. But that's probably the biggest issue is really connecting at a more deeper level than at the superficial level.
Yeah. And you said that Pascal, you like typically, or maybe Dad, you were saying it, that she prefers adults.
Yes, she connects with adults a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting, the preference for adults. I just like to think we're cooler, but I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, I think like connect more to people older than me
You do.
sometimes.
Okay.
It's just because I don't know, sometimes I think it's harder to make friends with a certain same age as me just because my mind might be somewhere, theirs might be different, and it just, it's interesting.
Yeah, I wonder, so it was interesting, Brendan, you kind of remind me like of an old soul in a sense. Like, I don't know if
Yeah,
people say that to you. And
I
so like
do.
I think there are those people out there that are just, wise beyond their years, and that's why you connect with like an older population. Pascal, why do you think you prefer like the adult well, I mean, now you are an adult, so I mean, I'm just saying like older friends versus like kids your age.
Ever since I went to Baltimore Law School, I've connected with people more my age and
Okay.
yeah, but I still have a friendship with people who are older than me. Feel like I connect with them sort of more than people my age. Think that has happened since middle school, maybe.
So it's a little easier in her current school
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the sense that like it's just like there's more people that you feel like are like-minded to you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or do you get along with your siblings?
I do. I
Okay,
really get along with my oldest brother,
okay.
Mhm.
Do you want
and
to give him a shout out on here? He's probably going to listen.
hi, Alencito.
Ways
Yes, she
down.
Carson too.
Hi, Carson.
What's up, Carson?
Alan and Carson, those are your brothers?
Yes.
The Carson and Pascal, they're 2 years apart.
Okay.
And there's no difference between brothers,
Yeah.
siblings with the sibling fighting and all that
Yeah.
goes with it. So,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Stella and her sister are 3 years apart, and I didn't know if it was because it was the same gender, like two girls, but I just feel like there's fighting all the time. And Stella and her sister definitely, and again, it might be the age, like they're not the best of friends, definitely not the best of friends. And so I'm hoping as they get older that we can like change that or, like turn it in a different direction because oh, it is a challenge right now.
yes, it was very challenging. Probably when Pascal was in the ninth, 10th grade,
Okay.
we started like, oh my gosh, they actually like each other.
Okay. 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 That's good.
So now you
Ninth
can
and tenth
see.
grade is when I can hope for that
Yes.
to
Or
happen.
before it was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, it
I
was
hope they get along.
it, it was always drama with me and Carson, but definitely not me and Alan. Uh,
He's much older than you.
yes, but you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to say like I connect more with him than Carson.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, there is something about like I can say for myself, like wisdom, right? Like I've learned as I've gotten older to let a lot of stuff go and not fight things. Even with
Yeah.
my own sibling. My own sibling is 2 years, well, yeah, 2 years younger than I am. I think I still drive him nuts, but I
Yeah.
old and wise, so
I have an older sister, an older stepbrother. They're 8 years,
okay.
8 years older than me. And I'll be 37 in August.
Okay.
And did you get along with them well growing up?
We had our ups and downs, but it's a lot different now because I'm really close with my sister. My stepbrother lives out in California, so I don't really get to see him and his family that much. Like it's been 6 or 7 years since I've seen them, probably longer than that. But we talk, we have a great relationship. I have his back, he has mine. My sister and I were both musicians and we both play music together. So that like really brought us closer, especially like on a professional level. It's helped us both handle situations, differently and, you know, it took a while, but we got there. Family's family.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a question for both you, Pascal, and both of you, Dad. So since it is Black History Month, how what has your experience been as a person of color with a disability and being a father, who is a person of color to a person with a disability?
You want to go first?
Yeah, it's been very interesting. Each year my school does like a Black History Month project, and I have learned a lot about companies like in Baltimore City, like the Taharka brothers. I've learned a lot of history about African American and other peoples of color, and I think we're like actually recognized now than like way before like this time.
Yeah.
So I think for Pascal, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Pascal, her personality, I don't think she sees that.
Yeah.
Some of the things that happen, her personality is just almost, I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
call it
But you
colorblind, but
see it.
yes, I do see it. And
Okay.
as a person in Baltimore, we are surrounded by a lot of the Blacks, African Americans, but I think her school is not.
It's not really
There's not a lot. I would
On
say.
a lot of
Okay,
diversity.
there's not a lot of diversity there.
Yeah, yes.
no.
Well,
I mean there is and there's not at the same time. Like it
her elementary was not. She's probably 5%, but I think in her school she is now, it's probably about 20%.
yeah, I mean there
It's
was
probably about 20%. But from the question to answer with disability, from my personal experience, I think in the medical field, especially at the beginning, because her primary care had experience with people with Williams, before her physician, and he did not see it. And going through the process, even the geneticist had experience with it and did not recognize, oh, this could be a possibility, which is which makes you think, was it the color or
Yeah.
it's not racism, it's just
No.
did not
Experience. Yeah.
did not
Yeah.
see it, even though they have experience with it. Just from a family perspective, or the way we work in our household, even though we experience racism, we see it, but we make sure we don't let that take us down or dwell on it. We just move through it, because if we do, we're not going to get anywhere, right?
exactly.
We have been in sessions, the WSA sessions, where other families who are African American have spoken about some trauma through the process. I mean, deep trauma, but from our family, we see it, but it's like, all right, let's move on.
We try to ignore the fact that there might be some racism or other factors in it.
Well, not ignore, but
Not ignore, but like move through it. Like
move through it. Yes.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
hear a lot about it in school and I don't know if you guys could talk about that. Like you were saying, your school has some diverse population, but have you had any issues when it comes to getting things that you need, Pascal?
no, it's been like really easy for me to like ask for help and ask like for accommodations
Okay.
at school. At Baltimore school, it's been really easy for me to like
Okay.
ask for extended time, ask for different things, like
Yeah, you seem like you're like a good self advocate for yourself. Like if you need something, you're not afraid to ask.
yeah.
Yes. So the school, yes, her school has been awesome. It was one of the best things that we did putting in that school. They go above and beyond. Everybody's did to help. So yes, and talking about advocate, there's nobody that's a better advocate for themselves than Pascal. She need medication. She out of nowhere calling the doctors, calling them up, like, what are you doing? She'll do things to advocate for herself. So she's great, even when she was younger.
I love that. And that's so important for a lot of different reasons. Do you guys feel like in the Williams syndrome community that you are supported?
We do feel supported, but as more so as a Williams family, someone with Williams syndrome family, than as African American, because there's really not a lot of people with especially with Williams that we know.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's people that we met at some of the functions. That's why we need to try to get more people to come to some of these functions, more African Americans to come to these functions.
Yeah. They're out there, right? I mean, there are families
they're
out there.
Yeah. I mean, we need people to come to the conventions and like the walks so that they can feel like they're being supported too.
Absolutely.
So we've been, I think WSA have been trying to have some programs for diversity, but it's really going to where people are at. It's hard, right? If just like in this day and age, a lot of people are using the internet to find about, Williams syndrome. And once they do, I know in the past, and that's one of the things that we brought up to the leadership is in the past, when you went to the website, you didn't see anyone of color, right?
Right.
But in the past 4 or 5 years, there's been a big shift, which is great because when you look at pictures from the conventions, when you look at pictures on the website, and you don't see anybody that looks like you, it's like, is this for me? And I'm not just talking about African American. We're talking about
I mean it's women, right? Like, I feel the same way.
Yeah. So I think it's important to at least make an effort when you go online to see people that look, but it's hard to find. Right? That's the problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, it's all about representation. When I first went on the website to look at Williams syndrome, I mean, everybody looks like my person, right? Because I have a blonde, blue-eyed person. But I think if I had anything different, it would have been much harder to see. I mean, I can see now, like I'm sure, like for you, Pascale, like I can, you have a lot of the facial features and the personality, obviously, if somebody has Williams syndrome. But if I wasn't around people with Williams syndrome, I wouldn't know that, right? So it's got to be hard for you because, like you said, there's not very many people who share your same journey.
I feel like in Baltimore, there's not a lot of people of color who know that they have Williams syndrome or got diagnosed with Williams syndrome. I know like some people, but they're not like of color. Through my mother's connections, not through me, because there's not like a broad population in Maryland.
Yeah, I'm just saying that when she was going to middle school, we were trying to find, and it was one or the other, right? Either be in a regular class or be in classes with people who are not on that borderline. So it would have been hard if she would have went there. It would have been a struggle, or it would not be a right fit. So.
Yeah, and I mean, gosh, you're so lovely, Pascale, and you're so well. Dad, you are too, but Pascale, you're so lovely. I mean, it seems like you really do have a good network of support. So I'm excited. Are we going to see you at convention?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yay. Can't wait to see you. Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. Is there anything else as we wrap up our time, Pascale, that you want to share with people, like whether it's about Williams syndrome or it's about anything you want?
I don't know.
And that's okay.
I don't know.
That's cool.
What about you, Gerald?
What do it? So usually my wife does all these things. So
go
we
Tara.
like the dad
Go
representation.
Tara.
We like the dad representation.
So she does all the hard work, and she was like, "You will do this." So here I am.
You're a good
You
man.
did a great job.
Yes.
You did a great job.
Awesome.
Well, do you have anything you want to share? I mean, because the dad perspective is really we don't oftentimes, I've probably said it on the podcast before, we hear from the moms, right? But and that's because moms are amazing and we love our kids to death, right? But
so I know, putting my dad hat on, I know my wife, she's a star that she takes care of, but she gets very emotional about these things. So it's my job to break it down, break it down. Let's think clearly. It's not that people want to do X, Y, and Z. It's just, this is just how they operate. And they don't understand Williams that well. So you just have to go with the flow. So I think my job is really to provide support and try to keep everybody level-headed.
no, and I think that's good, Dad.
Yes, I mean, yes, you're like the buffer.
The buffer.
The buffer.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's a great nickname for you. Well, thank you guys for joining us. This was fun. And
This has been the Starry-Eyed Podcast, presented by the Williams Syndrome Association. The show is hosted by Jennifer Keaton and Brendan Lemieux, and produced by me, Joel Listman. Theme song by Tommy Barbarella and Mariella Elm. Got a question for the show? Email us at podcast@williams-syndrome.org or message us at the Starry-Eyed Podcast page on Facebook. Video version of the podcast available on the Williams Syndrome Association channel on YouTube or on Facebook. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or comment on the video version and maybe it will be featured on a future episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Starry-Eyed Podcast wherever you get your podcast delights.